In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly
and Andrew Fiore.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a bonus Tuesday edition of your favorite podcast. It's Defend Your Movie. I'm one of your hosts, Andrew Fiore. I am joined by my co-host, the very quarantined, the very isolated Sean Donnelly, everybody.
Hello there, Andy. How are you?
I'm good.
It's good to see you, my friend. We are doing a Zoom edition of the podcast once again. These have been working out really well. The sound has been sounding fantastic. It's been fun, man, doing a couple episodes a week where people are contacting the show again. We're getting tweeted at. We have an awesome guest for this week and a really good matchup. Our guest this week, super funny comedian. We've been friends with this guy for years. Matthew Wayne, everybody.
Hey.
Oh, I'm Matthew. Hello.
Yeah, it's gonna be 7th grade, and I'll call you Matthew.
Matthew.
Love Matt.
Thanks
We
for
love
doing
Matt.
this, man. What'd you say?
I said we love Matt.
We love Matt.
I love you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for doing this. Andy, would you like to inform the defenders out there the amazing matchup that we have for this week? Because we have two very fired up people on their sides here. I just rewatched my movie, and I am psyched.
These always make for good matchups. I like it when the temperatures are running hot. Sorry, not maybe the wrong choice of words in this day and age, but well, before we get into that, Sean, did you watch anything since last we talked? Because I did a few things.
Well, I just rewatched one of the movies for today, but I don't want to spoil that.
Anything new?
I didn't rewatch anything else really. I told you about Tommy Boy. Dumb and Dumber was on. Whatever's on TV, I've been watching.
Yeah.
I started watching 15 minutes of the Ghostbusters with the female reboot.
Okay.
A very good movie.
You don't need to watch the remaining hour and 15.
Here's the thing, man. What the fuck?
I still haven't seen it.
What is wrong with that movie? Bill Murray plays a different character in that movie.
Right.
Now, I don't know if they pay it off later. Maybe there's a spoiler where he becomes Peter Venkman later in the movie. Is that a thing?
Do they all make appearances in there or just him? I know Harold Ramis was dead.
Yeah, a couple of them do.
I think I don't know how much they made this a part of the original franchise, because I feel like the next one coming out is going to be more connected to 1 and 2.
It is. It's going to skip it because in the trailer already they go, this hasn't happened in 30 years.
It looks awesome. I think it looks great.
It looks great. It looks like Stranger Things, but with Ghostbusters, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But as far as new things went, I watched the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Remember they remade it a few years ago with Denzel?
Denzel, yeah.
And I never actually saw that one, but I flipped on like Turner Movie Classics, and I immediately saw like Walter Matthau and Robert Shaw, and I knew the story, and I was like, oh, I'm in. And it's great. It's a cool OG New York City subway hijacking. It was fantastic.
I got to check it out. Is it on Netflix or no?
I was watching it on cable on Turner Movie Classics, but you might be able to find it.
You watched it with commercials.
No, Turner Movie Classics go straight through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'll tell you, man, Walter Matthau, like, he had a time in his career, like, you got pre-Bad News Bears, he was a badass, dude.
Yeah,
You ever watch, there's a great movie, and I think I've mentioned it before, possibly, Charlie Varick, where he plays it's a jewelry heist movie. Holy crap, is he a cool character in that movie, man. He's awesome. He's been awesome that's why he had such a long career, I feel like. And he's like, he kind of reminds me of he's like Burt Reynolds but uglier. Like he kind of like is a more real.
No, you're not far off, because he kind of plays a really kind of a cool character. He plays a very nonchalant kind of guy in a lot of roles.
Yeah, and then when he got older, he started doing the comedies like Bad News Bears. He's hilarious, and he just had that. It's kind of a Bill Murray thing with him too, man.
Yeah,
you know, like,
the old men are really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah.
Charade? Have you seen Charade?
No.
With what's his name?
Cary Grant and one of the Hepburns, not the older one, the younger one who's like
I've heard
90
it's good.
pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Philip.
Charade's it's a good film.
Audrey Hepburn. No.
I want to say Hello, Dolly. It's a very, I don't know. I don't know the name of the director.
Have you
I'm
been
not a
watching
film buff.
Yeah. Have you been watching anything during the quarantine? Did you rewatch any movies or checking on new ones?
Oh, yeah. I've been watching all kinds of stuff. I watched Boy, Taika Waititi's second film.
Okay.
And that's a perfect film. Very fun.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. And I rewatched, actually, this is something I did watch with commercials. I watched all of Face Off on IFC with commercials, and that's awesome.
I have to watch Face Off with commercials, so you can just like laugh about it while you're taking breaks.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, it's back. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you, maybe Andy, I've told you this before, Face Off is the reason that I do this show, because of that clip from Opie and Anthony where Norton is convincing Patrice O'Neal how bad Face Off is, and Patrice O'Neal is like, at first, it's a great movie, and by the end of the conversation, he's like, "You're right, it's awful, it's awful."
It's insanity. It is off the rails fun.
I will tell you that I forgot this, guys. What I will tell you this, I did start watching because it was a movie that was on my list. I don't think I talked about this last week. I might have, so stop me if I did. I started watching Killing Them Softly with Bradley Pitt.
Oh, yeah, I think you were telling me about this.
Johnny Sack from The Sopranos is in it. Ben Mendelsohn's in it, and he uses his Australian accent.
I love Ben Mendelsohn.
I must have told Maddie about it. I'll tell you, man, all the trimmings for a great movie, but just, you turn it on, it's just boring. It's just a boring movie. You turn it off. Like, that's why I didn't do that great, I think. I turned it off like, I don't know, 45 minutes in or something like that. Like, it's a cool, kind of a cool idea. Ray Liotta's in it. Like, it's a badass cast, man. And, but as far as the movie goes, it's just, there's no substance. It doesn't keep it going. The main guy in it, I forget his name, Charlie something maybe, it was just annoying right off the bat. Like, they have him, I guess it takes place in Boston, but he has like the thickest Boston accent, but you can tell he's putting it on. Like, it's really weak, really weak. So I did start to watch that, but I do not check out Killing Them Softly. And it was a movie that I wanted to see for a while. Like, I had it on a list.
I was telling you that happened to me with Volunteers with John Candy and Tom Hanks. I'm like, how could this be bad? 85, peak Candy, peak Hanks, same thing. I shut it off after a half hour. I'm like, this sucks. Every night I watch YouTube, and I'll just watch clips that pop up. They suggest to me if I think I'm going to like it. And I watched a whole the Best of John Candy thing, and it wasn't just clips of him. It was people talking about him. I'll send it to you. It's like heart-wrenching and amazing. I love how much YouTube knows what you know and you didn't know it existed or something. Oh, yeah. Sprinkle shit in your lap. Mine basically has SNL sketches, office bloopers, and UFO videos. And then like Quentin Tarantino breakdowns of his movies. But if the guy doing the narrating is annoying, I turn it off right away.
All right, let's get to our matchup today. We have a real high-heated one already. I can feel the tension in the Zoom room. Baby. The matchup today is Matt Wayne will be defending the 2000 Mary Herron masterpiece, American Psycho, and Sean Donnelly will be defending, what year was Inception?
2010.
2010. Christopher Nolan's 2010 Inception. Two real heady movies, man. Really heavy movies? Dude, I rewatched it. I don't know, because I found out before we taped, Maddie is not even a fan of the movie. So it's not even a thing where you rewatch it. I fucking hate Inception. First off, I hate any Christopher Nolan movie that's not a Batman movie. Other than Christine, I'll say. What do you mean? Memento's a good movie too. I'm kind of with Maddie on this one. But you don't like Memento? I don't love Memento.
You're such assholes. I'll tell you why. Because you know why? You know you liked it. You know you liked it when you first watched it. You're like that, where you liked it when you first watched it.
No, I did not.
You, got influenced after the fact.
Not at all.
No.
I did not. I, in fact, did not see what all the hype was the first time I watched it. And I went, I'm kind of let down.
Wait, are you talking about Memento or Inception now?
Memento. Inception I like better than Memento.
See, I'm the other way around. I like Memento more than Inception.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, it's almost like Inception is a grown-up Memento and like a bigger budget and absolute, like, you want to talk about production value and just really cool, really well shot and really cool look to it and really cool idea that nobody ever kind of tackled before in the movies. Like, what movies
Except
are
for
about
a 12-year-old boy.
What? Yeah. What movie?
It typically was conceived by a little boy.
Yeah, no. I just think that when it comes to Inception, I'm like, I thought everybody was blown away by that movie when it first came out. Like, I thought it's such a fun freaking movie. And it's also a thing where it's like, it's not just like, and the Fast and the Furious movies I like, it's not just like brainless Fast and the Furious. It's this cool idea that they actually made super entertaining, that it's not just a TED talk about dreams. You know what I mean? Like,
Are you sure it's not?
Like get out of your head. Dude, there's so many action scenes in that movie. If you see it for the first time, it's one thing. I think that people form their opinion about that movie like later on, about like, it's cheesy. It's not cheesy. It's cool.
No.
It's got a great cast. It's got a badass cast.
Great
it's
cast.
Like got every Batman cast. So I don't know how you can't like it.
There's things I like about it, of course. It's a very slick, well shot, well done. Like you said, production value, awesome. But it also just seems like it was conceived by a 12-year-old who was like, hey, aren't dreams like super cool? And
I don't know about that, man. There's a lot more.
It's like, what if dreams were within dreams? And all the dialogue is just like the amount of times first off, the times they say the word Inception, the titular line is like, Inception this, Inception that, and it's a dream. What about a dream? Or we're in a dream.
It's a bit
what about dreams? Well, you got to know the bylaws of dreams. See, 5 minutes is 1 hour, and you got to create. It's just like, what the?
I'll tell you why, because it's its own world. The movie has its own world. So how else would you know all that unless they were explaining the narrative to you?
Well, but that's the problem, is they're doing too much explaining. It's a lot of like exposition where they're like, you know, like when he goes to visit Michael Caine, and Caine's like, so you want someone to go into the dream with you? And he's like, well, no, they're the architect. They build it. I need them. It's like they're like laying it out for you too much.
Because it's technically a science fiction movie. It's not like it's not like you can't, like, you have to have that, because it's like, what if they never mention the architect? So he mentions the architect by name. You need at least one line of like, he designs the dream that I'm going into. Because if you don't, then they're like, what do you mean architect? Like, people are like, what is this? Like, that's what I mean. That's why it's such an inventive movie with an imagination. Like it's one of those things. They started from scratch. It's a thing that doesn't exist. So
it is a cool looking movie.
It looks cool.
It's a slick version of a completely made up thing, a fantastical freaking fantasy world thing.
Okay,
you said slick more than Inception said Inception.
Also, yeah, and then like so. Well, I mean, we can get into the ins and outs of that film, but my part with the dream, just dream. The part where he goes back to the memory of hanging out with his dead wife, we cannot get over. She's like, do you remember when you asked me to marry you? You said you had a dream. It's like everything has to be, even that is a dream. It's like, please, just let it breathe a little. Let it breathe.
But dude, the point of it is way more thought about than you're thinking. I think the reason they do that is so what you're taking away from it is like, wait, what parts of this movie is real and not real? So that's the whole.
Yes.
That's what's so cool about that movie is like there's and spoilers ahead. So if you haven't,
They've had 10 years.
If you haven't got around,
exactly,
had a decade.
But the ending is very ambiguous. He's never explained the ending.
Same thing with American Psycho.
With the totem, and it keeps spinning. But here's the thing about Inception. He purposely made it ambiguous. I think they just with American Psycho. I think they just were like, it was almost like confusing more than anything else.
Well, not if you break it down.
I'll give you that.
No, the book is Bret Easton Ellis makes it specifically ambiguous as well, and they adopted that method in the book. The big issue that people have with American Psycho is that they don't know whether it was all in his head the whole time or whether it was actually happening. I am a believer that it's both, actually. Is that he is a psychopath killer, and you just see the buildup to him losing more and more touch with reality, and he is disconnecting himself. So, like, he kills people, but then there's that part, like, when he gets to the ATM and it says, "Feed me a kitten." Like, that's him finally losing it. So it is real, and it's inside his head.
It's also like, I think it's supposed to be, I mean, I've read this. I mean, it's supposed to be like a commentary on, like, basically,
absolutely,
like, the privilege of these fucking Wall Street dickheads who can get away with anything.
Where do you work?
At the Wall House. I work on the Wall House Waffle House. But yeah, so it is kind of, I like that, Andy. It should be a combo of both, reality and imagining it.
But what about an American Psycho? Like, so you're saying, so he's committing all the murders, or he's not?
I think it's both. I think he is some of it is hallucinated. Like, I don't think 4 cop cars exploded and he killed, like, that's when his murder spree kind of, toward the ending. When,
it gets fantastical like that and things are exploding. Yeah.
And it's also, it's meant to be metaphorical too, with him losing touch with reality, but it's also, everybody else in the movie is meant to be a commentary on how self-absorbed that 80s decade was, and how commercialized it was. And the people that don't care and are ignoring the murders are too self-absorbed in themselves to just even care about anything else that's not in their world. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, they're also driven by consumption and driven by consumerism and shit like that.
No, so the part with the real estate broker, so you're saying she wanted to sell that apartment so badly that she just ignored the bodies in the closet and just cleaned it up. And
absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
doesn't that seem like a thing that a greedy 80s real estate person would do? They would. I mean, within that world of that movie, it's completely plausible. Yeah,
it's believable, and it's kind of a cool scene, and it's kind of left up to you, whatever it is.
That whole Paul Allen thing is really confusing, I think. The most confusing thing is, like, is he dead or is he alive? Did he kill him with the axe, or was he really seen in London? Do you know what I mean? Like, they never really tell you.
Right. That's why I think there was that's one of the arguments of, like, oh, did he actually do all the killings? Because if he did kill him, or if it was in London, I think the whole idea of that was just like what we were talking about. They're trying to say, hey, you can't differentiate these guys one from another. So I thought I saw him, but it was, we're
Agreed.
all douchebags. We all look the same. We all the slick back hair with the...
Yeah, a lot of the characters look similar on purpose.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or it's trying to say, like...
And they do make a point of mistakenly calling each other by the wrong names a couple times.
Halberstram.
Yeah, Halberstram. Yeah. And even his lawyer at the end doesn't call him Patrick Bateman. He calls him something else. I can't remember what it was. But they make a point to be like, well, was he even eating with Paul Allen? He could have made a mistake. Like, they do that on purpose.
Right, but you could take the other side of it is that, if he was in London, then he didn't kill him. And that means he didn't kill anybody.
Oh, he thinks he's Davis at the end. He thinks he's Davis at the end. He's like pleading with his lawyer. He's like, I'm not Davis. Listen to me, you stupid bastard. Yeah, I love that part. And even, like, he's looking right at Patrick Bateman. He's like, your one fatal flaw, Bateman, he's such a dork.
Yeah, he shits on him. But the thing about the movie is that it's also another argument I have is that Inception I can watch multiple times. American Psycho,
how do you have that time? How much time do you have? It's such a long movie.
Well, I'm not saying I've watched it 10 times. I'm just saying, like, I've seen it 3 times at least, whatever it is. But I'm saying American Psycho I've only seen once because it freaks me out too much.
Really? It's so fun.
I love it. High rewatchability for me.
No way.
Yeah, it's one of my faves. If we can go back to Inception for a second, one of my biggest problems with Christopher Nolan is his sound design, because the dialogue is so low. You have to, like, turn up the TV, and then it's like the Inception noise is kicking. It's like, whong, and then you have to turn it back down. You're, like, scrambling for the remote. All his films are like this. Interstellar was the same way. I'm like, what the fuck are these people saying? I cranked the volume. And this is something he purposely does.
Well, when they're going from dream to dream, and then they have the kick thing with the music, like that French song popping back in, they do a great job of the sound design of making that sound faint on the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
You kind of have to do it because they're supposed to be diving deeper into those dreams. But that can be annoying watching it on. Those are all built for film, like watching it in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I will give Chris Nolan credit in Dark Knight when he silences everything else just when Joker's coming through in the back of the cop car. And it's just, you just get that eerie quiet. That's brilliant.
That's good stuff.
Or the opening with the robbery when
Yep.
they're on roofs and they go, it's just this weird, like not a buzzing sound, but this weird, like almost like a tone. It's like this weird thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, yeah, I think I don't have a problem with the sound design because he builds it for if you're going to watch it in the movies. He builds movies for movies. That's what that brings me to. It's a better directed movie. Like to pull that off is harder than to pull American Psycho off as far as the shots go. Like, you know, they had, and don't get me wrong, it's in that regard, there are two different movies. One of them's like quasi-action, so I guess we don't have to put it up against it. But I'm just
cinematography, I would absolutely give to Inception. Obviously, it's such a grand thing.
I would admit that too. Yeah, I mean, Inception is a wild fucking ride. It's just it's a mess. It's a tidy mess. It's a very tidy.
So is American Psycho. American Psycho is also a mess. Absolutely, you just explained why. Because the guys keep calling each other different names.
On purpose.
Right, but everything in Inception is on purpose. Going from dream to dream is on purpose. They explain to you what the science of the thing is in the movie, so they have it down pat. If you're just not bright enough to get the movie, you're not bright enough to get the movie.
But Inception insists upon itself.
Yes, it insists upon itself, and it introduces. There's two things going on at once that you're like, okay, is this a movie about a dream heist to save the world from a conglomerate or a company that's going to take over? Or is this a heist that has to take place so he can see his fucking kids again and get over his dead wife? So it's like, I would almost rather just have the heist happen and I don't have to worry about this dead wife. I know it's the subconscious.
It gets crazy. It gets real confusing. You got to really pay attention.
Well, it's the emotional movie. Because just because you guys are cold-hearted assholes.
Are you calling us Patrick Bateman's?
Yeah, you guys just come up with Patrick Bateman. I want, I got it. It's like a really involved Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And if
dude, I was saying to my wife, I was like, this needs to be a crossover with Inception and Eternal Sunshine so he could forget about this woman and then just go off in the dream world and have fun. Eternal
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind could be a prequel for how they start doing what they do in Inception. That would actually be a cool idea.
I'll give you this, Shawnee. We can actually compare casts because they both kind of have not an ensemble cast. Inception does, but not so much American Psycho. But Leonardo DiCaprio
knocks it out of the water.
Leo was offered Patrick Bateman. Leo was offered.
Leo was offered.
He turned it down.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got Christian Bale. You got Willem Dafoe. You got Chloe Sevigny. You got Jared Leto, Justin Theroux, Josh Lucas, Reese Witherspoon. American Psycho is a very underrated cast.
Josh Lucas, Josh Lucas made like 3 movies, and one of them was Sweet Home Alabama.
That's true.
Dude, have you ever seen Wonderland?
He was on that Yellowstone show.
Oh yeah. And he's
have you ever seen Wonderland?
He's the voice of Home Depot.
I thought it was Lowe's.
Was it Lowe's? Oh, all right, Lowe's, whatever it is.
Yeah. Wait, what's Wonderland?
Wonderland is the story of like these really brutal murders with nightclub owner Eddie Nash and John Holmes, the porn star. It's a fucking heavy watch, man, but it's really good. It's got what's his name? Oh God, Val Kilmer plays John Holmes. Josh Lucas plays one of the gangsters. Who's the guy who is in not No Country? What's the other Coen Brothers movie with George Clooney?
Oh
Brother Art Thou. He's not John Turturro.
Little guy.
Tim Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake Nelson is great.
He's great.
I like that.
Christina Applegate. It's a really good movie, but you got to be in the right headspace to watch it, man, because it's a fucked up movie. But it's really good, and Josh Lucas is really good in that.
Yeah, but I think when you have Inception, you have Leo, who now, after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I enjoy watching even more. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who, I'll tell you, man, this kid was a fucking child star. Hold on, he was a child star. And he, now he's making himself a movie star now. He's great.
I like Looper a lot.
Looper's great. So's Dark Knight, when he's in Dark Knight. He's great in that.
John, underrated.
Oh, Don Juan, right? Or Don John?
I think it's supposed to be John.
No. I don't think that's it.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be
John-
pronounced Don John because he's like a spoof of the character.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he put.
Even Michael Caine, you ever hear the story about Michael Caine where they go, how do you choose what roles you take? And he said, if there's a paycheck, I do it. That's
I love that honesty.
It's great, yeah. And it's also like it's almost like you think about like comics too. It's like everybody thinks there's like this like artistic thing with it, but it's like a lot of times like, hey, I need a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think those casts are closer than you think.
Ellen Page, she's fucking great.
Oh, fuck off, Ellen Page.
Yeah, fuck off.
Get out of here, Juno.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
She's
He's
great.
a snooze.
She's great.
She's out of place in Inception. That's a miscast.
She is.
No, she's not. She seems like she has
Is she
that.
an architect? Is she an architect or a psychiatrist? Also, she's like, you gotta let it go. Fucking, what's his name? What is his name? Gordon?
Cobb.
No, that's not it.
Cobb.
He's a Cobb. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's like his little personal psychiatrist there.
She's very astute. She knows what's going on.
No, I'm thinking I want Juno quips and fun little millennial talk and my blogs, and that's what I see Ellen Page.
I will say this. I will say this about Inception. I forgot how there are a lot of times where it's very lighthearted and playful, especially between Tom Hardy and Gordon Levitt. They have like a little homosexual thing going on.
Because at one point there's a line where he's shooting at the bad guys, the projection.
Hello, darling.
And he goes, darling, you should never be afraid to dream bigger. And he just pulls out a cannon and shoots out the power.
Yeah, so there you go right there. Like, why doesn't everyone just do that? Like, hey, I'll just think of a fucking cannon and do it. Like,
right. There's a lot of plot holes.
Like, Saito should Ken Watanabe should have never been shot.
You would like
should have dreamt of a bulletproof vest. Should have just dreamt of a bulletproof vest.
It's not like Joseph Gordon-Levitt like pulled out a freaking handgun. He pulled out a machine gun and was shooting with that.
And it wasn't good. It wasn't good enough.
It was great. The movie's great, and it's a fun movie. American Psycho is like you're watching it with like this evil like tinge in your eye or something.
Not at all. I think there's a lot of comic relief.
You have fun when you're watching American.
It's a dark humor.
Yes.
It's a dark comedy.
It doesn't. Maybe
a dark comedy.
Maybe I'm a more of a sensitive boy than you guys or something.
I think you are.
I think you might have watched that at a dark time in your life.
Well, he also doesn't do good with blood and guts, and it's not even a scary movie. But he's got a very soft spot for that.
Well,
No fan of that film liked it because it was scary. They liked it because it was so fucking funny. And Christian Bale looks like he's having the time of his life.
Well, Christian Bale I like a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that it's. I'm just saying that like it's. I have to be in the mood to like Inception. If it's on, I might pop it on for a half hour. Like you know what I mean? Like it's an easier hurdle for me to go. Yeah, I'll watch this. American Psycho. I have to be like, oh, I want to watch that again. Like you have to be in this like. Oh yeah, it's kind of like a really dark. Everything's dark about it. You know what I mean?
See, I feel the opposite. If Inception's on, I might watch it for a half hour and then move on to something else. If American Psycho's on, I'm probably sticking through the whole thing because I love it.
Yeah, I'm staying in. I'm just gonna. And it's actually I would agree that or argue that it's not dark. There's a lot of like playful, almost like like the fine dining, the business cards. It's very chic. It's very it's like a different. It's its world of its own too. Like Inception.
Yeah,
shit's not going upside down.
There is the funny parts are the funny parts, but the build up to like the creepiness of him with murdering the hookers and the like, it's too like I'm like it's like really unsettling. So,
but it's to make a point.
What?
It's to make a point.
I know it's to make a point, but like sometimes I don't like I don't want that point to make me.
Sometimes you just want buildings to go on their side and go zwang. I will say the
sometimes I just want a van slow mo going into a body of water.
That was one of the goofiest parts because I just rewatched Inception today. Is when Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like doing his like skydiving shit through the hallway.
Come on.
What
do you mean? Hold on.
Wait.
What do you mean? You mean cool choreographed fight? Yeah.
No, it's cool. No, but there's no gravity. It is cool. But it's super goofy when he gets to the door and he's like, "Oh, let me get my card key." Boop, boop. It's like, even in this crazy world where there's no gravity and you're controlling things with your mind and your architects, you got to get your key card out.
He's got to call the front desk.
Oh shit!
Sir, did you have your key card next to anything magnetic? No, not in my dream.
That's just a tribute to how good of an architect Ellen Page is. She looked at the details.
Down to the fucking details. Yeah.
Dude, I read something hilarious about Christian Bale when he was trying to prepare for Patrick Bateman. He was like, I had an idea of the character, but it didn't really get nailed down for me until I saw Tom Cruise on David Letterman, how he was just like so exuberant and boisterous. And then he was like, but then there was nothing behind his eyes.
Oh my God.
Oh man. That's a great Cruise burn.
Yeah.
Wow. Everybody thinks that, but he said it? Oh my God.
I was like, yeah, it's perfect Patrick Bateman.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like dangerous for that. That guy don't give a fuck, Christian Bale.
I know, man.
He really doesn't. He knows he's the shit.
The story.
Yeah, you're right. That's very catty like Bateman, just talking shit about other people.
No, I think he's trying to say like, I think he's just trying to be like, I don't, come at me. I don't care.
Those Scientology people after you. You better watch out.
That's what I mean. But do you remember the thing with him? Do you ever hear the story of, about the thing on set with him where they had the audio tape?
Oh, the lighting guy, yeah.
He was like a PA or a lighting guy. A lot of people came out to say they defended him because they go, you don't understand. That guy was known on movie sets for fucking walking in the middle of shots and being a dick and like not paying attention. So everybody was thinking what Christian Bale was saying. Like he wasn't. It wasn't a thing like, oh, look how much of a big time asshole he is. They were like, no, get him out of there. We're trying to do this and go home. Like, and
also, that's another thing. If you're like a known method guy and you're trying to wrap up at the end of the day, and like somebody makes a fucking noise over there, you're gonna snap. If it's like your 48th take,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Quiet, so we can all go home.
Especially when you're good, like you're a good actor, and it's like, hey man, I'm trying to work, like you're fucking up me working. And I think there is a thing to that. I think some of these actors take themselves too seriously sometimes. Yeah. But I think that, it's not a completely easy thing to do, especially when it's like, especially with what he does, where he's like, The Machinist, he's losing 90 pounds for it. Even Batman, iconic character.
I never saw The Machinist.
I never watched it.
It's not that good. It's impressive that he just smoked cigarettes and ate bubblegum and apples to lose all that weight, but it's not. There's no payoff.
Just Christian Bale shitting his brains out for 3 months.
Yeah, he shit out his American Psycho physique. Also, American Psycho. I would be remiss if we didn't mention the American Psycho soundtrack.
Absolutely.
Wait, what's the soundtrack?
Oh, the music's such a huge part of the narrative.
Oh, with Huey Lewis. Yeah, okay, yeah.
The Huey Lewis, the Whitney Houston, the Genesis, Phil Collins, Robert Palmer.
Those because one's a score, one's a soundtrack.
No, yeah, I mean, like, I just meant, like, that's what makes it kind of a fun movie also. Like, not that the music from Inception, like, that, like, that's kind of fun, and it takes you, I mean, they're not going to play any pop songs. Other than the song that they chose for the kick.
The French Edith Piaf song.
Edith Piaf. Yeah, I feel like I was in a bistro with all those passed out dreamy boys.
I did. I downloaded that song after the movie came out. I thought it was cool.
You what? Oh man, I thought they should have been more heavy-handed like the rest of the film and just picked that song from the 60s, like "Life Could Be a Dream." Have you cut off?
That's from the 50s. That's from Clue. Remember?
Hello again. Your wife's still dead, and you are here.
Oh yeah, here's the thing. You just brought up a good point, Matt. They didn't do that, and that's why it's kind of like a more put together movie. Because think about how many directors would have done like a list of soundtrack songs that have the word "dream" in the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've already knocked it out of the park in the script. We said "dream" and "Inception" 1 million times. Look at your eye roll. Also, though, I think that the actress who plays his wife played Edie Piaf in a biopic.
He did.
Edie Piaf, whatever.
Piaf,
Piaf. I can't say it. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, she's.
But you're right. No, it was a good choice for a song. I'm going to give you that. That was a good song.
And she's in the what's the one? The Rises, Dark Knight Rises. What is it?
Yeah, the one with Bane. She's always bad news.
Oh, that's Marianne Cotillard.
Yeah. She's great, but obviously,
Guys.
Christopher Nolan likes her a hell of a lot. And I was listening to something about some actor that was in one of his movies brought up a point that he's pretty lax. You would think the way that his movies are, he's like, it must be this way. You have to do the scene this way. Say this line this way. But they were like talking to him about a scene, and they go, "Well, how do you want me to do this?" And he goes, "Well, what are you thinking?" And then he goes, I would say it like this. And he goes, "Yeah, it works." Like, he's just totally cool. But everything's so
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Everything's so, ducks in a row in his movies and so complicated and so almost Hitchcockian in a way. I'm not saying he's Hitchcock, but I'm just saying it's so fancy looking that you think oh, he must be a psycho on set,
Doesn't look like anybody's going to win today.
Well, I think I got bullied, to be honest, and I feel triggered.
Oh, sorry. You're playing the victim card all of a sudden.
Hey, man, I watched all 148 minutes of that trash today.
So did I. And I enjoyed every minute of it.
It is slick, as you put it, and there are super fun parts. It's not it's not, yeah, I did say that. I incepted it into your mind to make you think you said it.
All right, I think that's a perfect way to end right there. I think that we're not going to – I don't back down. You know what happens sometimes, Maddie, seriously, is on the show, I'll change my mind. I think you've changed your mind, right, Andy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you change your mind. But with this, I really – at the end of the day, I'm not – at the end of the episode – I'm still on, I enjoy Inception more than I enjoy American Psycho. I think it's just a matter of taste more than anything. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. I
will say I don't hate it upon second viewing as much as I thought I did. I'll give you that.
So that was only the second time you watched it. Did you watch it in the theaters the first time?
Interestingly enough, the first time I watched that film in the theater, I had just broken up with my girlfriend, who is now my wife, and we went on a friend date post-breakup. Well, let's just go see Inception. So there was a little...
Of course you don't like this fucking movie then.
Wait.
Dark time, and you and the love of your life's relationship.
Yeah, we went to see Inception, and then we had a shitty sandwich at Subway, and then I was going to Cabin, and I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't come to Cabin. But...
And did she come?
No, she didn't. She could tell that I was like, I got to go to Cabin. I wish Cabin was still open.
Yeah, but did that lead you to get back together after that friend date?
It was our mutual hatred of Inception. It brought us back together.
Well, I'll tell you, we mentioned Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and I do love that movie. It's one of my favorites. But I had a bad time. I saw that movie in the theaters right after I broke up with this girl I was in love with.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And and it fucked me up. That movie fucked me up.
You were just listening to that Beck song?
Oh, my God. The whole soundtrack. I had the whole soundtrack, and I bought the CD, I think, or whatever. And oh my God, Inception doesn't do that. I don't think of Inception as I don't think of my own relationships with Inception, but it does. It is emotional enough, and it's an interesting part of the plot of the movie. See, I don't mind it as much as you do. Yeah. I think it's kind of cool. I think also you need something like that for the high drama. It is very high drama movie. American Psycho is a way drier movie. Nobody gives a fuck in that movie. There's murders going on. There's nobody crying and saying, oh my God. Inception is the whole thing's emotion. The whole movie.
Well, that's because American Psycho purposely lacks emotion to make a larger point.
Right. That's the style of the movie. I get it.
And it's way more concise, American Psycho.
Sure.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, you don't know. That's not even up for debate. Concise?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But it's not like...
What are we on, our fifth dream inside a dream inside a dream? There's nothing concise about it.
And then all of a sudden, I'm looking at Tom Berenger. I'm like, oh, thank God, I have an old friend here.
Then he pops on Major League.
Yeah, Jake Taylor's here. I make the league minimum.
Matty. Well, I got I accept your points. I respect your points, but I still like Inception better than American Psycho.
We'll talk about it in person sometime.
Yeah. We'll do a video and then we'll add it as a deleted scene of the podcast.
Special feature.
Special features. We'll do a commentary on the actual movies.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sometimes these ones just come down to taste, and we don't get a winner. But Matt Wayne, thank you for coming on today. Where you want to plug anything? Where we can find you and stuff?
Oh my God! Well, I'm on Instagram, No Wayne in Hell, and then I don't know. I'm not, dude. This is it. Look for this podcast. I mean, there's no shows. Comedy's dead. Yeah. There's nothing going on unless you do one of these like stand-up online show on Instagram live shows.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those.
Have you guys done those yet?
I'm doing one on Thursday, and I've done a couple of I did an interview, and I haven't done a straight up stand up one yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
I'm not nervous to do that. I just think that I hate the idea. If I did one that was straight up like a set, I think I would prepare something. Like I would write a story or something.
Yeah. It seems low stakes though. Also, people understand. They're like,
people understand, but there's people that are like they're getting a little bit of audience and they like kind of want you to do well because some of them people are paying for the show. Like Butterboy, people are paying for the show. So it's kind of like, oh, you're kind of making it as legit as stand-up is.
Yeah.
There's shows that I've gone to that have 2 people at them and in person, and some of these shows have more people, you know?
Oh, goddamn.
Andy, do you want to have any plugs?
No, you can just follow me on social media at Andy Fiore, and that's ramped up a lot in the downtime, so check me out there. And you can listen to my SiriusXM show, The Raw Report, every Thursday at 4 p.m. We have new Zoom content. We've got celebrity interviews still happening, and this is a cool thing, Shawnee, that also concerns you. Anybody who wants to test out SiriusXM for free right now, they're giving it away free for the next 3 months. No commitment, no credit cards required. I think it's just SiriusXM.com/free trial or /The Raw Report. So whatever you want. Yeah, check it out. Shawnee's got a show there too.
I do. I'm at Shawnee Time on Instagram and Twitter. And, I have a show on Sirius 99. It's called Celebrate. We do it once a week now. We have our first Zoom show this Wednesday at 4 o'clock. So it's Zoom content just like Andy said. And, you can get free Sirius. So there's no reason. I'm actually going to share that. I didn't realize that. I'm going to share the link on everything that I have to make it easy for you guys to check out Celebrate. Maddie, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Matt.
I had so much fun, boys. Good talking to you.
Always a pleasure.
All right.
Always a pleasure.
Everybody stay safe out there. Defenders, we will see you guys on Friday for the regular episode, weekly. Until then, rate, subscribe, review, and tell a friend.
Yes.
Later, dudes.
Adios.
Later, bros.